What's up, y'all? My name is Devontae, and I sacrificed my time so you don't have to. Alright, so I'm going to try to do this as quick as possible while at the same time still trying to do my usual length. You know what I'm trying to say? I'm still at work right now at the moment. I got somebody doing something they should not be doing at the moment. But I feel like they can hold it down for at least a good 15 minutes before I get back inside the... So, we're going to react together to the ratings. I have yet to see the viewership number. I have yet to see the ratings. I got a heading right here telling me, hey, the viewership numbers are in, but I have yet to actually read it in itself. So, give me a minute while I click on this. Hang on. Doing two things at once. I won't tell you the second thing that I'm doing. According to Dave Meltzer, the May 1st edition of AEW Dynamite drew 703,000 viewers and achieved a rating of 0.24 in the coveted 18 to 49 demographic. This is an increase from last week's show, which got 683,000 viewers and a demo rating of 0.3 as well. Rampage aired live immediately after and garnered 431,000 views. Which, by the way, they said it was a 47% increase, but let's see, preceding Rampage following Collision, which drew 293,000 viewers, on a... God damn, bruh. What I say last night, and what did I say last week also? Look, this... Only time will tell how this angle is going to turn out at the end of the day, alright? I'm not here to say that, hey, you know, let's just judge it on its face right now. Shit just started right now. At the same time, though, you got to recognize right now that no one is really focusing on AEW at the moment. What you really got to focus on at the moment right now, that no one gives a shit about AEW. How do I know that? Well, I mean, look at this right here. Even with all the shit that went down last week, and I had so many people telling me all these excuses, NBA this, yada yada that, yada yada this, yada yada that. Look, man, either you engage with the product or you're not engaged with the product. The number can still look halfway decent if people are going back and forth between the shows. You feel me? Like, if the number is like this, then all that tells me is that people stayed with basketball. And it's not to say that basketball isn't more important. It's not to say that basketball is, you know, obviously not a bigger deal. But again, the numbers would be a lot better if people were going back and forth between the shows. No or yes? And the fact of the matter is, they only grew 20,000 fans. 20,000 fans from last week with this angle right here. Now, I know people are going to probably be like, well, Devontae, give it time for it to build up, and I guarantee you after basketball, it's going to be right back up again. But my deal is, yo, if you have the correct creator for it, if you know what you're doing, then this shouldn't be a problem in the end of the day, right? But fuck the whole back and forth shit. You have a better product. If you have a better product, this shit shouldn't be a big deal at all. At all, man. No one's feeling the storyline. No one. No one at all, man. Even with all the fanfare from last week coming to the following week, no one's really feeling it. And the thing is, you know what I think the problem is? And we can probably disagree on this in the end of the day. I know, obviously, we can talk about the world champion and the implications and all that shit. I think it really has to do with the people who are playing the parts. I feel like this angle would have had a better chance of getting over if you would have established a couple of names in the States. No one cares about New Japan Pro Wrestling like that, bro. No one cares about all the wrestlers that you're pushing at the moment who don't have any charisma behind them. It'd be one thing. I think this would probably get over a lot better if there was a CM Punk there. If there was even an MJF there. This would get over a lot stronger. But the fact of the matter is this. You have people that are involved in this that do not focus too much on their character development. They're now just starting to focus on their character development. But you can't practice while being in the game. Does that make any sense? Like, you can't practice and, you know, go out there and, hey, man, let me do a couple of reps on the microphone. You can't do that at the same time trying to promote the biggest angle in your company's history, arguably, at the moment. That's at least how it's coming out to me. And like I said, as time goes on, when it builds up, if it builds up, we will see. But what I'm seeing at the moment, there's no excuse. There's no way to get around this. So far, this has been a failure. I'm not saying that the angle is a failure. It just started. But what I'm saying is, so far as this whole little angle, as far as interest is considered, it's a failure. It's a complete failure so far. Now, like I said, what I believe should occur going forward, this is just my opinion, you got to be more risque with it. Just hitting Tony Khan in the stomach ain't enough to get the job done. Beating up a Kenny Omega with, you know, fucking diverticulitis or whatever, that's not enough. You got to do something way more egregious, something that will actually get you spreading throughout the news. Right now, again, I appreciate the notion of what they're trying to do to get their names out there. I do absolutely appreciate the fact that they're trying their best to tell more stories. They're putting a lot more effort into their shows nowadays compared to in the past. I will give them that. But you're going to have to push the momentum. You're going to have to do more than what you're currently doing at the moment. And what I think you should be doing is starting to go around the Rams of promoting more, I don't want to say promise, probably risque, I think is probably the best way for it, right? Not just adult things for the sake of it doing adult things. God damn, that girl fine as fuck. I'm sorry, I got distracted. Not doing adult things for the sake of doing adult things, but I mean, like, for an example, right? You had the shit with Kenny Omega and you push him off the card and all this other shit. First things first, also, can I say this also? The actual aesthetic of everybody involved inside this shit ain't gonna work. This takeover shit ain't gonna work without having legitimate stars involved inside it. You can have a Jungle Jack Perry inside there. You can have the Young Bucks inside there. You can have an Okada inside there. And they may be big names to the IWC and this audience of 1 million, but to everybody else, no one knows who these guys are. No one cares about who these guys are. I think it will probably work a lot better if you have some established names within there. And I know people are going to probably be like, well, Devonta, they had their opportunity for CM Punk. This is exactly what could have happened. They could have legitimately worked CM Punk into this. And when it's all said and done, all that CM Punk has been saying is not coming to fruition as far as, well, all I wanted to do in the end of the day was work with these guys and make some money with these guys. And now look, they're doing an angle that's not really involving me when everybody in the end of the day wants to see me and it's coming back to bite them in the ass. Yeah, I can see that, but there's really so much you can do as far as focusing on that. That shit's over with now. CM Punk ain't coming back. CM Punk is in WWE. So you still do need to do your thing. You still need to get people involved, and you still need to be able to capture whatever audience you have right there and grow off that. People talking about CM Punk and shit like that, yes, we all understand and we all agree in the end of the day that this would be a lot better if CM Punk was involved. But he's not involved, and he ain't never going to be involved. So we need to look past the surface. I actually will turn it to you guys and ask you, what the hell do you think they should actually do in order to get this angle a little bit more further? I certainly think that they should be risque. I certainly think that there are other elements maybe involving Swerve Strickland that they could be using in order to capitalize on his popularity currently at the moment and building off of it. There are certain things that I feel that are happening outside professional wrestling that they can capitalize on from a pop culture standpoint, bring within the stable in itself and build off of that. It's just what they're currently doing at the moment as far as running angles and beating up people who are weaker than them. That's not going to be enough right now. Beating up a Tony Khan who was like 5 million pounds fucking lighter than a Jack Perry, which is saying something, and Kenny Omega who's on the brink of death, that's not doing anything for anybody. You know, because I get it. The whole thing is this is supposed to be influential from the NWO, right? The whole takeover stuff, we've seen it so many times throughout the years, whether it's the NWO, whether it's the McMahon-Helmsley regime, whether it's the Nexus. We've seen it plenty of times when it comes to the whole takeover shit, right? But in the end of the day, the people that they either worked with or the people within the stable in themselves were super fucking over. There had to been at least one person in that group that was over, or the person who they're opposing happened to be over. With the NWO, it happened to be someone who was super over outside of the group who contested them, being a Sting, or opposing them. And obviously the legendary turn from Hulk Hogan. They don't have any of that going on inside of this stable. What they have currently at the moment is a bunch of cosplay twinks. A bunch of cosplay twinks who actually believe that what they're currently doing at the moment is something monumental and something humongous, when in reality, it's not garnering the attention of the mainstream audience. Like I said, two things can occur at one time. You can appreciate the audience for what it's worth, right? I can appreciate the attempt at telling the story for what it's worth, but at the same time, I can also understand that no one really gives a shit about this angle. I can understand that. Now, this comes into question because now we have to ask ourselves. People made so many excuses about the NWA this and the NBA this and the NBA that. And it's not to say that it doesn't have an effect on it, but what do we do going forward? Like, right? What do we do going forward? There's only so many times you can legitimately focus on the excuse of the NBA without actually taking into questioning that the ratings and the viewership numbers are still low. Right, it's only 23,000 fans grew from that. Was the NBA on prior to 2 weeks ago? Was it? I mean, I know people are going to probably get really pissed off for some reason because it's so fucking weird that people get pissed off over shit like this. And like, Devontae, don't you understand? Maybe you should watch the NBA more often to get a better idea of what the... Yeah, you're right. Maybe I should. But I still don't understand what that has to do overall with the consensus of how this company is still within this range, still within this realm. You know what I'm trying to say? Do you get what I'm saying? Like, if there was an opportunity, in my opinion, for people to look at what's currently going on and they actually want to watch the product for what it's worth, they would have done it. Instead, well, this is where we're at right now. I know, the truth hurts. And AEW fanboys, the truth hurts. You see your product for what it's worth, and I don't know, maybe you look at it and you say to yourself that you can't handle the fact that no one really wants to watch your product. And I get where you're coming from. I completely understand where you're coming from. But, you know, sitting here and having the wrestling your laurels about what the fuck happened last night and how good the angle was and however you feel about it, you have people involved in the story that no one wants to see. And you had an ample amount of time to build these people up from a character standpoint over the past few years, and you focused on so many different things that now that they're in this big angle, no one cares. No one cares. And hopefully this right here is, you know, because I do feel kind of bad to a certain, because again, they are trying their best, I understand, but you know, at the end of the day, no one wants to watch the angle. But let this just be a reminder going forward for any wrestling company, AEW themselves. Hopefully they can look at what the hell they're currently doing at the moment. This could be a cautionary tale. Stop focusing so much on fucking wrestling. You focus so much on the wrestling that you give up on the other aspects in regards to what makes professional wrestling important, and you put yourself in this position, you put yourself in this predicament. Don't do it to your other superstars going forward. I hope that the angle catches fire. I hope that they do something that's really, really, you know, not so cliche as to what we're seeing currently at the moment with the beating up of the superstars. Different scenarios, I get it, but same circumstance. I hope they get better, and I hope that they can break away from this nadir, man, this creative nadir that they're currently in at the moment. It's a damn shame too, because like I said, man, you call yourself an alternative, but in reality, the only thing alternative about you, like I said, and I'll say it again, is the fact that you happen to not be WWE. That's it. That's it. You're just not WWE. And honestly, one may argue that that's for the worse. But I'll put the ball in y'all court, man. Let me know what you feel like AEW could do going forward. What do you feel AEW could do as far as building up their own ratings, building up their own viewership numbers? What do you feel like they should probably be focusing on in regards to the story? And you could talk about outside the story also, as far as what you feel they could probably do in order to stall these horrible fucking numbers that they're getting. This is a failure. I completely said outright, what did I say last week? They need to get at least 750,000. That's it. Bare minimum. Like, that's at the fucking low end. And they're still 50,000 short of that. Like, they're still 50,000 short of that. What do you do from that point right there? You can argue creative all you want to as far as NBA shit. I don't want to hear it. You either have a product people want to watch or you don't have a product people want to watch. You can bring WWE into all this all you fucking want to, bro. In the end of the day, the whataboutisms, it's not going to work. Why? Because WWE, they're made. Nothing is going to happen to them. Nobody is focused on WWE. All right, what I'm focused on is the company who is competing with WWE that I want to see get better, that I want to see in a position where they can eventually compete with WWE. It's not as if WWE doesn't compete against football anyways, man. These are just a bunch of fucking excuses. At the end of the day, these are a bunch of excuses. And pound for pound, regardless, how much is a drop from WWE pound for pound compared to compared to AEW from a percentile standpoint? There are so many elements that we're taking into account, but just in the end of the day, the whataboutism is just annoying. The whataboutisms, they don't matter, because what you're saying is essentially true. Cool, I understand where you're coming about I understand where you're coming from when it comes to AEW, but what about WWE? I don't give a shit about WWE. You agree about AEW? Let's talk about AEW. That's what a whataboutism is to me. When I see someone say, "Well, okay, well, you're right. What about?" Okay, boom, fuck it, you're right. What about this? Okay, cool, you're right. Now, can we get back to the situation? The what about that you said I was right about? Can we get back to that? Because that's the topic at hand right now at the moment. Playing whataboutism ain't gonna save AEW not one fucking bit. But let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. I gotta get the fuck up out of here. I know that boy already fucking up inside the stove. My name is Devontae, and I'll be catching you guys later. Deuces, P. Eyes.